drinking, and we just kind of wanted to start, and this is very informal today, but I wanted to welcome all of you. A friend of my mom and dad, this is a friend of mine, and on behalf of our family that could not make it, Karen up in Oregon, and Colleen in California, San Diego, and her daughters. And you
Orange County.
Orange County, yeah. And I think you met Terry and her daughter Kate, and DJ and his wife Rini and their sons. So we're really just feel blessed and honored to be here. And, so I'm gonna speak a little bit, and then Terry's got some things to say. We've been trying to talk DJ into it, but he's
I'm not much of a public speaker.
He's going to be a listener. And then what we thought we'd do is we just thought we would kind of go around and just share like what maybe a good memory of my dad was. You would tell us, and or just recount something something that you might miss, or it's very informal. And then and then we'll play a couple songs that aren't really sing-along songs, but something that we played for my dad. And then the other songs then after that are all songs that you'll probably know and can sing along. And Al here was so sweet to actually bring words to one of the songs that we actually had on our playlist already. Wow. So that's awesome.
Which is
we
special
just
to
thought
us
that
too.
was
That's
like a God thing.
Yeah. And so we really would love to open it up to you to please share with us, and what we share with you may or may not surprise you, And Terry, can you give anybody a photo? Would you please raise your hand if you didn't get a photo? We want to give you a photo.
It's a good photo of when he was healthy, and
pretty recent, yeah.
This is the dad we know.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
thank you. Right here.
Thank you. Oh, yeah, here we go. You guys can pass. Oops. You want to
Pass him back here too.
Oh, you guys got it.
I mean, some people don't have.
and we'll do a little worship at the end with this playlist, this nice playlist that Terry put
Oh,
together.
you got two, Terry.
Terry, okay.
So,
Oh, good.
No.
You want to? We have plenty, so we don't enforce the photo on you.
yeah.
A lot of people don't have a place for a photo, but if it was in a bookmark, in your Bible or something, and just to remind you of something maybe that you love.
But it's really nice to finally meet you after hearing so much about you all, and your love and support for Mom and Dad, and your love for the Lord. That's just awesome. We will all see each other again someday. And see my dad. I'm not sure. Did he go by John or Tom with you guys? Tom. See, he had aliases. And some people, I think, but the more formal people, I think he went more with John in the work environment. Yeah.
Well, I found that out when we were visiting with him at the hospital. The nurse kept calling him John, and I corrected her. I said his name is Tom.
Well, he went by JT a little bit, but not much. He mostly just signed his signature that way, JT Hampton.
Yeah. I did. I went to the
That's fun. That makes perfect sense that you guys give him this Tom. And so I don't know. I'm going to start with a little about me, of some things I inherited from him. I have some just amazing abilities. I've actually a magician. One time I turned a car into a driveway. It was abracadabra moment. Also, I've got an amazing. I had an amazing ability to choose really wonderful parents as well.
Yes.
So it was all my choosing, and it turned out well. I got to tell you. So I want to tell you a little about my dad, which you may or may not know already, but he was a meticulous person. Do you guys know him as a meticulous person?
Yes.
He never ran around the house looking for his keys or wallet. He always knew where those were. And he never got a ticket.
Really?
Never got a ticket. and he never caused an accident or anything.
Let me
he
just
knew
interject.
No, I want to tell him about that. But I'm trying to save some for Terry, because we haven't pre-coordinated our stories here. And so correct me if any of this sounds wrong to you. So Terry was a flight attendant for Frontier Airlines.
When it was good, when
When it was when they actually served something they call meals. Have you ever heard of that? But she was based in Kansas City for a while, but she was also based in Denver, right?
Texas too.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. See, I don't know. And so, Dad and Mom would take turns at a time when I don't think she had a car, taking her to the airport. It was called Stapleton at that time, Stapleton Airport, Denver. And he was driving her to get her there pretty quick because she kind of needed her job.
And it was his birthday.
It was his birthday. And he actually got pulled over by a Denver police officer for speeding. And he came up and, sir, may I see your license and registration? And he was looking that over and he said, sir, is it your birthday? And he said, well, as a matter of fact, it is my birthday. And the officer tore up the ticket and said, well, I never give anybody a ticket on their birthday. Have a nice day. So he totally dodged officially getting a ticket. He came close on that one too. He also had a black belt in karate, a third-degree black belt in karate. And he was an instructor at Loretta Heights College. And he taught us some karate as well. It was Kempo, the Korean type of karate. And he even trained his pig to do karate, and this thing could do an amazing pork chop. That one might be stretching the truth. And that pork chop was delicious eventually. And he was not disgruntled either. I digress. I don't know if you know this, but my mom and dad actually ran a greenhouse in Denver for several years, and along with my dad's brother, Dick. And his kids also. My sister Karen worked in the greenhouse. We were wondering, did you ever work in the greenhouse, Terry?
I didn't like slugs.
Yeah. So we lived in this little house. So the name of the greenhouse was called Hannigan's Greenhouse. And it was on the corner of Ogden and Evans, and we lived in when I was born, we lived in a little white brick house in between two gigantic greenhouses. It took up probably a fourth of a city block. And so they did, one of the greenhouses was all carnations, and it was huge. They did a ton of carnations on that side, and they did bedding plants on the side. My sister Karen worked there, and my cousins worked there, and it was wonderful. You could it smelled humid going through there. And there were little turtles that ate insects, and it was fun. But they did, how many years was that, Mom?
I think we were part of it for about 3 years.
3 years, okay. And then they moved to the house near there where they lived for about 35 years that I grew up in, or attempted to grow up in. I don't know if it ever happened. So we have fond memories of that house.
And what part of Denver is that?
Southeast Denver is right, it's pretty close to Denver University.
Okay.
So on South Franklin Street near Yale, near Porter Hospital, if you can picture that, or Denver University.
But tell them what's where the greenhouse stood, what's there now.
Oh, so the greenhouse was pretty close to Washington Park, which was high dollar real estate. And so they eventually sold the greenhouse to a developer, and he put up houses there, and he named the development Hannigan's Green.
To this day?
Is this still there?
To this day, they put up some very nice houses there. So they really,
I did not
it
know
was a
that.
nice tribute that they gave to the name, and that Hannigan's Greenhouse is known in that area well, and I don't think they made a ton of money. They were very nice to people and gave a lot of things away, and they're very generous, and, it was a wonderful time. My dad was also on the ski patrol. I don't know if you knew that. And at a ski area called Geneva Basin in Colorado, and he was a very good skier. Also taught all of us how to ski, and Mom too. Mom was a good skier too. He actually had the opportunity to rescue. My mom fell, and she had what was called the wet look. No, seriously, they had parkas. It was fashionable at that time. It was called the wet look, and it was shiny. So, and correct me if I'm missing this, but she fell and slid almost down an entire mountain. The thing was so slippery, and finally you crashed, and you hurt something, didn't you?
I didn't hurt too much, but
You're
Tom came after me.
He rescued her.
And in the process, he broke his leg.
His leg went through the snow, and he post-holed down and hit a rock or something that twisted it, and then he had to be taken in the sled, didn't he? Yeah, they sent the sled for Mom, and they wound up taking my dad, the ski patrol guy. So he was very ingenious, and so was Mom, and they did some very ingenious and fun things. And I hope I'm not stealing too much of your thunder, Terry. They every winter they would set up a skating rink in our backyard, a large skating rink. We had a big backyard, and it would freeze, and it was the neighborhood hangout for kids and everything. And they learned, and that's where I learned how to ice skate. And basically they built a big wooden border that they would reuse every year, and then line it with plastic and fill it with water from the hose. And so that was a good memory too. He gave my brother DJ and I, he would do anything he could do himself, he would. So he gave us our haircuts.
Oh, yeah.
Which we were not really too thrilled about. And he was so, part of his meticulousness is that he, didn't want to have hair tracked into the house. So he would take us out in the backyard in our underwear, all the neighbors on display, and
They would
give us
Chain link fence.
give us our crew cuts, which we didn't allow. And then so we got paraded. No, it wasn't that bad, but he also was a runner, a really avid runner at one time, and a stretch of time, I should say, and he ran 10K races, and he actually in his kind of early to mid 50s ran a half marathon up in the high altitude of Georgetown, Colorado.
Wow. His heart.
And yeah, I mean, he was really in good shape, wasn't he?
Yes.
I think there's a picture or two in that book. If you have not seen this photo album in here, it is a really good compilation of things, a lot of memories of all of us, of him, and a lot of life events of Dad, and it's pretty neat. So I hope you get a chance to look at that. Also, my dad had an ongoing battle with the animal kingdom. He had a collie that when he was young caused him to fall, and he broke his tailbone. So that was the beginning of his war with the animal kingdom. After that, our cats, I don't know why just him, but our cats targeted him for surgical urine strikes. And to put it bluntly, they found a way to pee on his briefcase. And it made him so mad. They would come back for return visits. They had a frequent flyer program, I think. And so they would do that, and they had a hard time getting that smell out of there, and it was in their bedroom. Yeah. And he also, there's a type of bird in Colorado that was also his sworn enemy called the grackle. I don't know if you ever heard of grackles. And he just hated them. Not sure why, but they were a pest, and they would come and eat cherries off of the cherry tree and things like that. And so he never missed with his BB gun. My dad, Tom, was also in the military. He was in the Navy, and he became a chief petty officer, enlisted man. I think that's one of the highest ranks you can get as an enlisted person. And after he came back from the Navy, he married Mom in 1954, right? My dad was also really protective of his family, and so I think Terry will tell you a little more about that. But it was his undying love for his family that drove him. He never had a fancy car, I don't think really, you know, and he made sure that mom had the best car that worked well and everything.